Here we go again. Tiffany Henyard 2.0. This is wild.
Of District 5 Commissioner Regina Hill. Arrested earlier this week, Hill is now charged with elderly exploitation and fraud. According to the state, Hill took advantage of a 96-year-old woman who lives in her district, stealing $100,000 from her.
God damn it! You can't make this shit up!
Hill's charges stem from a 13-month investigation by FDLE.
In this video, I caught this on the Legal Good. I don't know how I found it. It popped up in my feed and I watched it. But anyway, go over to his channel, give him a sub. He does, he's been covering Dalton. He covers a lot of things, a lot of political stuff. If you're into that type of stuff, go over, give him a little sub, and let him know Armed Fisherman sent you. Link will be in the description.
Orlando Commissioner Regina Hill has been suspended from her post after she was indicted and arrested on charges of 7 felonies, largely stemming from elder abuse.
And once again, this sounds like something that it's an abuse of power. The person got into power and they abused it. They did it for their own personal gain, robbed somebody, and the person is 96 years old. This is disgusting. It's no different than Tiffany Henyard because she's robbing from her community. This lady extracted $100,000 from one lady. What do you think Tiffany Henyard's doing?
Let's have a look. So Orlando's Commissioner Regina Hill is arrested for stealing more than $100,000 from a 96-year-old woman and using money on a facelift. Orlando City Commissioner Regina Hill has been charged with elderly exploitation after she allegedly stole more than $100,000 from a 96-year-old woman in her district.
Why?
According to these documents, Hill and the 96-year-old woman had no prior relationship. It started when Hill became aware that the woman was living in deplorable conditions back in 2021, and it was her former aide who spoke to investigators. Here, we are just looking at the finances, and according to the FDLE investigator, the elderly woman had more than $164,000 in the bank, but now $100,000 of it gone.
Hi, thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage.
And this is what makes it even more wild. Regina Hill was supposed to be her caregiver, and the ex-caregiver found out about all the stuff that was going on. She was getting away with this for over a year. I hope they lock her up for a long time. But let's see what the charges are. Let's see what they're going to get her with.
And charges on her credit card, they say, are now at nearly 10 grand. The woman told investigators that she didn't give Hill permission to use that money, but Hill is not quoted in these documents, but she told us on the phone today the allegations are false.
A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit.
Orlando City Commissioner Regina Hill bonded out of the Orange County Jail. Just hours before,
Regina Hill
was standing before a judge to answer for the 7 charges she now faces, including multiple counts of exploitation of an elderly person and fraud.
In her plea of not guilty on all accounts.
Attorney James Smith represented Hill today. He says Hill continues to maintain she did nothing wrong.
Yes, and of course, I would expect anybody, same thing will happen with Tiffany Henyard when she gets indicted and arrested. She's going to plead not guilty. But it's going to be the facts of the case that are going to prove that not only Tiffany, but this lady, she's going to have a hard time proving once they have all the documents. And they've been working on it. They've been getting all the documents. Let's hear from the FDLE.
But the Florida Department of Law Enforcement said it has found evidence that shows otherwise.
Mrs. Hill effectively betrayed the trust of her community by taking advantage of a 96-year-old elderly citizen, which is one of the most vulnerable in that community.
You're evil like a hobbit.
State investigators say they've been looking into Hill since February 2023 after receiving a tip from her former aide. Investigators say through witness interviews and a review of financial documents, they found Hill established power of attorney over a 96-year-old woman who she met in her district.
Tell me more, tell me more.
allegedly bought a home with the woman listed as a co-owner without her approval, and allegedly spent over $100,000 of the victim's money on things like a facelift, a New Year's Eve vacation in Miami, and spending money on home repairs.
Hill moved into a vacant home that the victim had inherited from her family and then used the victim's personal finances to pay for renovations on that home, while the victim's primary residence where she lived remained in disrepair.
I honestly don't know which one's worse, Tiffany or this lady, because to be honest, the fact that she took advantage of this 96-year-old woman this way, moved into a home that this woman inherited, fixed the home, and let the other lady live in garbage is crazy. This is crazy.
Investigators say the alleged acts date back to 2021. They say the 96-year-old woman didn't realize she had signed over financial power to Hill and didn't realize the extent of the alleged spending until she was approached during the investigation.
Why are we starting to see this everywhere? This is never good. You know, we always talk about, you know, holding them accountable and da-da-da. But whenever it's this rampant, how do you stop it? You know, the only thing, you know, for me is to expose it and in hopes that the people that live there or the people that have been abused by these politicians or whoever, hold them accountable and either vote them out or expose them or something, because this is getting too crazy all across the United States. Just way too crazy. But you know the deal. Don't forget, hit that like, share, and that subscribe button, all that good stuff. And I'm out. Solely Ecker. Deuces.